I'm just amazed at the number of musicians who don't know A, how to tune their instruments, and B, what their instrument sounds like. You know, I'm really impressed when I see horn players, you know, saxophones, guys working on his reed, and he'll walk over and he'll blow into the wall so that you can hear what his horn sounds like because he's behind it. You know, trumpets. Sorry, Herb. You know, same way. You know, I mean, they're you know that the sound's going that way. You know, drummers, you know, they're behind their drums. They're behind their drums. They're not standing, you know, where the audience is standing, you know, or where somebody's standing 10 or 15 feet away. Pianos, it's the same thing, you know. It's like, but with drummers, I don't know, you know. I mean, ride cymbals were always up here, you know, and they were played with the wrist, ding, 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 ding. Maybe it's the music doesn't need that anymore, but you know, they have a ride. These guys come in and they say that's a ride cymbal, and they play it like it's a crash cymbal. They're playing a ride pattern, but they're playing it like it's a crash, and you know, and the cymbals are down really low, so it makes it really, you know, short of going in and cleaning out the tracks and building gates in the computer. You just really have to. You just really have to put up with a lot of that stuff in live. When you're doing records, you know, now they got sound replacer. You don't need to worry about any of that stuff, which is another pet peeve of mine. But we won't go into that right now. Sound replacer and auto-tune. Auto-tune live is really dicey because you got so much other stuff coming in that vocal mic. You know, now it's not just tuning the voice, it's tuning the guitar or whatever. So you know, it's like anything else. They're all tools. Pro Tools is a tool. You know, the problem for me is that, you know, you got you know, what all this technology has done is it has made it possible for some basic mediocre talent to make a lot of records that have sold. But when it comes to coming out and playing them live and performing, they really can't do that. You know, they can. You've got sound replacer. You've got auto tune. You know, when you know, you should be able to sing in tune. You know, when I started in the record business, you didn't have any of that stuff, and you had to be able to do it. Now it's like, that's good for feel, just tune me up. You know, and they're gone. And the engineer's sitting in there tuning, you know, for a day tuning a vocal. And you hear that. You know, I hear it. You know, it's and it's just unnatural. I had one of my Nuendo friends. He told me a story about there was a hip hop band. You know, he didn't tell me who, but they sampled Earth, Wind and Fire's "Shining Star," and they were trying to loop it, and they couldn't loop it because it's kind of had this little speed up and slow down, and they wanted it right on the beat. So they've got software now that does that. But you know, I mean, "Shining Star" was a really big hit record, you know, and all that business, all this up and down, that's the feel. That's the stuff that makes you want to get up and move, you know, where, you know, everything is just so measured and so perfect and, you know, and in tune, you know. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, I really feel that that's one of the reasons why the music business is suffering so much, is because the technology has made it possible for anybody to make a record now. And for not very much money, you know. And recording studios are going down the tubes. You've got engineers coming out of universities now, and engineers coming out of private schools. You know, they spent, you know, it's a college education. They spend a couple $100,000, and when they come out, there's no place to go to work because there's no studios anymore. You know, and and they don't have the opportunity that I had of actually being there and watching these guys work, and just picking up this little trick and that little trick, and that's not, I mean, to stand behind these guys and watch them work. That's how I learned. I learned from watching, I learned from experimentation, I learned from making mistakes. But basically, I was just lucky because I got to work in that environment. And, now so much of it is, it's all, you got all the rules. There's a lot of rules. In school they teach you a lot of rules. And I read something by Bruce Swedien where he basically said, there's only, and I assume he said this. It was a quote. There's only one rule in audio, and that's there are no rules. It's like you can. I mean, if somebody came into this room and looked at the way I do things, they take away my music mixing license because I just fly by the seat of my pants. I got a pretty good understanding of the fundamentals, but I do a lot of things that would make my partner, who's an engineer and a very technical person and a wonderful mixer, great ears. He comes in and he just wants to pull his hair out because of what I do. And sometimes if I need more gain, I just go in and get the gain. If when I'm doing here, when I'm doing it live, I don't have time to use a scalpel to go in and just take out some little thing that's annoying me. I'll use a hatchet if I have to, just to get it under control. And if I had more time, then I can get in there and I can massage it a little bit more. But basically, this is guerrilla television. You hear it 2 or 3 times, and then you're on the air and it's done. And it's to me, the measure of success is how quickly you can get it back together again, and hold it there. And to do that, you need a lot of help from the musicians.